knowing the number of land borders that we have. And of course, I could remember one of my colleagues from Burutu also, made a submission that they are closer to Guinea and other neighboring countries, and there is this open possibility of people through canoe or boats, which are not regulated, coming in either for fish farming or, of course, some illegal bunkering business. And these people can also, they come from those being placed on red alert West African countries. And it's a frightening situation, actually.
Yeah, but looking at it now, this goes beyond the jurisdiction of Port Health Services. Who should be worrying about what you just mentioned? Now?
Well, first of all, in fact, in effect, you summarize to say interior. Interior has to do interior customs. And of course, still Ministry of Health, Foreign Affairs. These are MDAs that should take it serious. Foreign Affairs, of course, need to interface with the other countries on diplomatic level to let them know that, look, yes, we are our brothers and sisters within the West African map, but from what is happening now, there is need for us to, without, of course, them feeling that we are rejecting them because of what is happening, and that causes diplomatic disunity. Foreign Affairs can come in by, mediating. Then while they are doing that, to also reduce, so that those people can also put in check those who are probably trying to leave their country to come into Nigeria. While they are doing that, the immigration officers must be up and doing. I've seen instances, you come out of the aircraft, you see an immigration officer going to go and carry a bag of a foreigner, without even, taking caution. So they need to reorientate the immigration officers to understand what is at stake at the moment. What we are talking about the people that are spreading this, are those who were the first-hand receiver of Patrick Sawyer. And those were intelligence officers, the immigration officers, and in some extent, the custom officers.
Let me take you away from the Ebola virus and into something that is now peculiar to Nigeria, and that is the Nigeria Medical Association and their industrial strike. Now, your committee has been mediating in that strike. What is the situation now? What can you tell us about the situation of that industrial strike?
I feel very bitter. I feel very sad. I feel disappointed. Not as an individual alone, but as a Nigerian, as somebody who has been, of course, voted into office to represent the people, somebody who should contribute to good governance, somebody who should also pride himself and say, yes, this government is doing a lot, and somebody who also should look at the social responsibility of that field. What are they set out to do? And what should they be doing? Save life. I could remember my governor, the governor of Delta State, refused to sign the death penalty for kidnappers. Why? Because he's a medical doctor. And his profession is meant to save life and not to kill life. So, taking a coup from that informed why he took it upon himself. It's part of why I'm bitter. My governor is not, he does not work in any of the health institutions. He's the governor of a state. He leaves his state, comes to negotiate with people that should be his junior in the field, and pleads with them to say, suspend your strike while the negotiation goes on. And I felt very, very, very bad that in spite of his contribution, not only him, recently some Southwest governors came together pleading on the same issue. If you cannot listen to people, who can you listen to? That is one. Two, what are the issues? You're claiming that you're owed funds, you're owed money. 23 years ago, this government came on board being a listening government, decided to sit down with you to now look at those issues that are in question. And they now agreed on a particular amount both parties signed. Now it came to issue of availability of funds. They now said, okay, we will give you 2 months. Suspend your strike. Then we now go back to budget, meet National Assembly, and ask them to please include the balance in the subsequent year. Now, the National Assembly, that by the time the president brings it to us as a proposed budget, we can do justice to that because you have to come and defend it. We're also standing in to say, hey, we will abide by it and ensure that that money is kept intact and you will have your money. No alteration will be done on it. You did not, you refused. We were, even while we were on break, the leadership of the House, led by Waziri Tambuwa, instructed that we should see to the end of it. We came back, we were almost like kneeling down, begging them. And of course, you witnessed that the NMA president had to resign because he saw it that people's lives were being lost. So how can he be a general leading lieutenant to the war, whereas his people are dying? I expected them to collect the 2 months. And now subsequently, while suspending the strike, negotiate further on how they can beat the remittance of the balance money that are owed to them. That is the truth. The other issues that they have, talked about, related, skipping, every other thing, had, been so. In fact, in one of the issues, they came up with that the minister raised a memo, and that memo, of course, does not delete the impression they have on the initial memo. We were able to get the minister to correct it. He corrected it. I think it's important that Nigeria gets to know all these truths. The doctors have no reason to go on strike. Bearing in mind that there is an agreement. You are owed money, they've agreed they will pay you. Go back to work. People are dying. Look at this Ebola thing. If they are true Nigerians who truly believe and they are sensitive to the plight of Nigerians, and they are voted or they took on oath to protect life, they shouldn't be on strike. That is my take.
Now, taking a cue from what you just answered, we know that part of the recommendations made at the national conference is this, that any group of persons or union that goes on industrial strike for a period beyond 1 month should not be paid for that month and any subsequent month that they choose to stay on strike. Now, what is your take on that?
For me, when you go on strike and you get paid, it's criminal. It should be criminal. It should be a criminal offense. You're on strike. You're not rendering any service. And yet, you are paid. You are robbing Peter to pay Paul. So while you're on strike, give room for us to recruit temporary staff and use that money that ought to have come to you to the people. If I even talked about privatization, now most of these hospitals should be privatized.